The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And it's another week. It's 11 a.m. on a Monday, and it's time for another edition of Mick Shots inside the SWBC podcast studio. Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and the star of the show, Mickey Spagnola.
The star of the show.
You're not the star of the show,
I'm just
Mickey?
the third,
it says your name
the
on
third
it.
wheel.
And we are here for another week. And there's a lot going on here. As a matter of fact, normally, Everson, you see two football fields out here. Mm-hmm. There's only one football field out here. There's a big event coming up on Thursday night.
And then when it rains, there's no football fields out here. Can't go inside either.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have facilities out there for the concert, right?
That's right. The AMC concert coming up on Thursday night.
Thursday night. So
Yeah.
I think football practice, if it rains again, will go across the street to Baylor, Scott, and White.
Yes, yeah.
They have a weight room that's still available.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You get the strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
Or strength, probably not the conditioning.
I love the place over there, the Baylor place. It's really nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. We've done a couple of shows in there, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And there's another football team that practices over there. I don't know if it's maybe the indoor team.
The Dallas Defenders?
Maybe, yeah. I see them every once in a while driving in. They're either outside or inside practicing. Yeah.
I never knew that was the name. I never knew their name.
I didn't either until last week. I was at the Stars game, and there was a sign at the American Airlines Center showing the Dallas Defenders.
You got me on that one, Bill. Thank you.
Yeah, you know who the head? Hey, Mickey, do you know who the head coach of the Dallas Defenders is?
I do not.
Clint Dozell.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Clint Dozell, Dallas Desperado fame. What a quarterback he was for the Desperados Arena Football League.
I think he was almost like the offensive coordinator.
He was. He was like a coach on the field. And Will McClay was the head coach once upon a time.
What?
Yeah, the Dallas Desperados.
On, man.
So that's how he got here. They hired him away from Jacksonville to be the Desperados defensive coordinator, but he said if he was going to take
Joe
the
Amisano
job
as the head coach?
Figurehead, yes. It was like the monarchy.
Man, McClay, a man of many talents.
So Will was sort of, and Dozell were kind of running those teams because Will told him if I'm coming over to coach the Desperados, then I also want to be involved in scouting because he was a scout for Jacksonville. And so they said, yeah, okay. So it was kind of, I guess.
What a testament to working your way up through the ranks for Will McClay.
That was going to be
We had no idea we were going to go down this road, but it's a great road to go down.
Let me write that down because that was going to be my Friday column, right?
Yeah.
A testament to Will McClay.
There you go.
Yep.
Funny how we got to it also because of the rain.
Because of the AMC.
And the AMC.
And,
well, people should know that there's a big
ACM.
ACM. Sorry, that's why I was
ACM television network.
AMC is like movies, right? Or
yeah.
something.
There you go.
There's a tent outside on the
where the practice field is.
AstroTurf field is, and a parking lot also.
I don't know if I want to call that a tent. I mean, that's just a structure.
Yeah, it's more than a tent.
Yeah, it's tent, Uber tent.
It's the equivalent of what you would see at a PGA Tour event. You know, the hospitality or
party tents.
Party tents, like that.
And then behind it's going to be parking for the celebs when they get driven in by their limos.
Oh, you know you're one of those guys. Come on.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, he's one of the drivers.
That's why I dressed up today.
Makes some extra pay.
Right.
It's in case I saw Kelly Clarkson or something.
You're like, Will, you're a man of many talents.
That's right. You got to be.
Yep, working his way up. That's right. So anyway, and off-season workouts continue.
with coaches on the field. We talked about it last week, and they continued this week. And the rookie mini camp will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They'll get here.
So when will
Thursday.
they arrive? So will they be able to go to the ACM Awards?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if they have a bullpen for those guys.
I mean, they'll be able to hear it. They stay right here, right?
If there's room.
They may have to have the rookies report on Friday instead.
Maybe a days in down the road. Or something.
That's right. Everson, you recall where you stayed right off the bat? I mean, you were local in town.
I was good. I was good.
You never had to.
I was right back in bed.
But there was.
Come on.
You didn't have. Did you have a mini camp
Yeah, we had mini camp.
for just the rookies?
We did. We had mini camp
100 of
just
you?
for the rookies, and we were out there. I remember the DBs and the wide receivers were kind of going at it. And I couldn't wait to get at somebody because I was still upset about not being drafted. And I remember I was going to go up against Doug Donnelly every time he went up because he was the first guy that they drafted. And so my focus was on Doug Donnelly. And here comes Tony Hill.
Well, I thought it was just rookies.
Yeah, I did too. Here comes Tony Hill. I'm like, oh, man, I'm salivating, right? Like, man, I get to go against Tony Hill. So I step up to the front.
This is right on the heels of Tony Hill catching a touchdown pass from Roger Staubach to beat Washington in 1979.
That was my moment. That was my moment, right? So I'm step up on Tony Hill like, hey, you know, I stepped up a little too aggressively for his taste because he was just there. Hey, guys, I just want to get a good look. You know, I'm up here to warm up. You know, Tony always had problems in the offseason of keeping his weight. So he was out there early, you know, his big sweats on and everything. I'm out there like, hey, man, I want to go against you. He goes, hey, bro, I'm just trying to get a little warmed up. I said, yeah, okay, that's okay. He said, you stepping up kind of strong? I said, yeah, I want you. He said, well, you know, if you want me, let's go. So I come up at him real fast on the curl route. I mean, I really came at him hard, right? I didn't give him any room. And he's like, hey, Rook, I told you I'm just trying to warm up. And he said, okay. So he comes out the next play. Man, he shook me down so hard. He shook me down so hard. I almost broke my ankle, right? And he catches the ball and he throws it back at me. He said, I see you in training camp.
So your attitude as an undrafted guy coming in, there's going to be undrafted guys that are coming in here this week.
Yeah.
What advice do you give those guys who are trying to show what they can do right off the bat?
Don't sit back. Don't wait. You know, don't you know, first of all, don't make the same mistakes you see somebody else make out there, right? That's the best thing to do. You learn from somebody else's mistakes while you're out there and learning. And like I said, the main thing is show yourself.
And even though there may be no reason for you to walk in here with any swagger, you come in here with some swagger.
If I'm looking at it like this, if I'm a free agent, okay, I come in and whatever 40 time I run, you know, not the 4.7 I'm talking about. If I'm one of those guys out there and I'm running like a 4.5, 4.4, then I'm going to use that. You know, whatever I can do with that 4.4, I'm going to show them I can use that with a 4.4. I'm going to do all the drills correctly. I'm going to know where the hell I'm supposed to be at all times. And at the same time, I'm going to show them that I'm eager enough to want to get out there and represent the star.
And especially if a Tony Hill, a guy who at the time was 4 years into the league probably when you were a rookie.
3 years, I believe.
Okay, 3 years into the league and had established himself in the league, you're going to show this veteran
this is who I need to compare to. This is my goal right there. That's my standard. That was Tony Hill. But at the time before he came, it was Doug Donnelly because Doug was the first. He was the first receiver drafted in our class, and so I was going to go at somebody. I wasn't going to try and prove myself against another free agent. I'm going to try and prove myself against the best. You're the best. I want to beat the best, and that's what I told Tony Hill.
So unfortunately, nowadays we have rules against that.
Oh, is that right?
The veterans can't be out there.
Well, then it's one of the rookies. It's going to be one of those rookies that you speak highly of. If it's a wide receiver and I'm a DB, I got to go at you.
Yeah.
That's it. This is man-to-man right here.
But it's basically just this weekend because they moved back to rookie camp now. What it was before for years, it was just days after the draft and after all these free agents are signed, whatever, then they have a rookie camp. Then they go back home and then they come back for off season. Now it just goes right into OTAs basically the following week.
And that's why they did it, so they didn't have to go home and come back. Yeah,
so you're just
exactly.
it's a rookie orientation. You're just days away from meeting up with a veteran on a practice.
They've turned it into into an orientation because before they brought these guys in and started going at it, they'd show up here and it's 90 degrees, and these guys hadn't been doing anything than preparing for the draft and taking the chicken dinner tours on their visits, and then they come in here and pull a hamstring or a quad, and they wear them out. Yeah. The big story when Dez was drafted comes in here and he's losing his lunch out there, and so they've backed off now, and it's more of a kind of walk through orientation to get them ready to show how we practice, right? How we do things, and then have them ready to go for the OTAs.
So no one-on-one?
Probably not.
Wow.
Well, if there is,
so what?
On this list
then Bill should ask you the question.
On this,
what can a free agent do?
Not yet.
You
Just show up on time.
You have to wait for a training camp, basically.
And learn the playbook until you get to OTAs.
Yeah.
Which
because
is fast.
looking at this, there's no rookie quarterback in this group, right, to throw one-on-one. Now, they normally what they do is they bring guys in for
like a tryout
tryouts
guy.
and have them throw, because I think
They'll probably have a couple.
Will Greer may not even qualify to work.
Probably doesn't now, I don't think.
because this is like his third, fourth year, right?
Well, I think if I were going to be strategic about it, I would try my best to find where that camp is when the quarterback takes his wide receivers and the DBs, they all work out together.
We'll find out where Dak's
Right.
lives.
Go knock on Dak's door. Hey, can I come play?
Y'all practicing today?
Uncle Dak, can I come and play?
I'm going. Sometimes they go to Arizona, right? Man, I'm going to see if I can go to Arizona and practice
Right.
Something. I mean, you gotta
You
do
get on
something.
that plane.
I'll get a ticket.
You don't have any money to buy one, probably. So they've got. I think we talked about. Did we talk last week about a couple of the guys they signed? Maybe the fullback we talked about, right?
Hunter
Luepke, is that how you say it?
Yes.
North Dakota State.
Yep.
They really like him.
Okay.
I found out that he's versatile, not only fullback, but he ran the football for North Dakota State. Obviously, probably can play special teams, and so he was a guy that I think stood out for them in agreed to terms. I guess it still is until they get here and sign. But he was one of about a dozen guys that they looked like they had to come to agreements with.
Well, and when you look at the history of Mike McCarthy's offenses, a fullback is a very important part of it. Has been in the past anyway. John Kuhn was a Pro Bowl fullback for him.
I think he did it by his performance against the Cowboys that one year, if you remember. Running the ball, catching the ball, scoring touchdowns, by the way.
And Luepke is 6'1". He at the combine he was 6'1" and a quarter-inch tall, 234 pounds. And so he is a type that, with the ability, maybe to run between the tackles a little bit, but I would assume they're looking at him more so as being that fullback type.
Yeah, lead blocker, because unfortunately these fullbacks in college don't grow on trees, right? No one goes to college and say, gosh, I want to be a lead blocker as a fullback, right? That just doesn't happen. You turn into it because you failed probably as a tight end or something like that. But this guy's got something to him. They really like him. I saw the other guy, one of the guys I heard that they really like is the cornerback from Louisiana Tech, Myles Brooks. He had played 3 years at Stephen F. Austin and then transferred. He wanted to go to Division I, and he transferred to La Tech for his final year. And I'm not sure what happened coming out of college, high school. Pflugerville, I think he was at Pflugerville, Austin area. He had committed to Arkansas, and then something I read decommitted mutually, and then ended up at Stephen F. Austin. So didn't know if there was a reason why he needed to stay close to home or what. But he was being recruited by some Division I teams before he ended up going to Stephen F.
And he fits the profile, nearly 6'1", 201 pounds, ran a 4.51.
Yeah. And, he had a good year at Louisiana Tech. I read where he only gave up 30, and I don't know how accurate these things are. Quarterbacks completed passes against him at only 36% rate. So,
why don't you trust the data? What's going on?
well, I don't know who's doing it.
Where'd you get it?
They might have some high school kid looking at tape, right?
That's like when you look at drop passes.
Yeah,
Okay.
same thing.
Who judges, especially at the college level? You get it a little more standardized, I guess, in the NFL.
Yeah.
But at the college level, who's judging whether it was a drop pass or not? I mean, the ball might have been way behind the guy, and he barely got his left hand on it, trailing him. Whatever.
I thought they had an official, person, website, organization.
It's not an official NFL.
It's
or
an official
college
website,
stat.
but
yeah.
it's not an official person.
Right.
That's entering the data.
I read one thing about him. They projected him. It could be a day 2 prospect, probably a day 3, and it said potentially a steal for the right team. Mm-hmm. So I also think his dimensions. He's 6'1", 200. Mm-hmm. Sounds like a safety to me. Mm. And he played safety in high school, by the way. So it might be one of those guys where they listed – because they listed him as a defensive back. They didn't list him as a corner or safety.
I think you say 6 feet 6'1". You could still be a
6'1",
a solid cornerback.
Yeah.
It's still
it's good size,
good
right?
size, yeah.
And they like big corners.
Yeah, you start talking about the safeties here, though. Donovan Wilson is an exception. But, more of J-Ron is more the guy that kind of looks more like that hybrid.
Well, I mean, he was invited to the combine. I mean, that 4.51 was a combine number. It
Right.
wasn't. It's not a pro day number.
And he was at the East-West Shrine game also.
Yeah. So that's a name to keep an eye on.
Yes.
Myles Brooks.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Before we hit a break, one thing I would like to mention, one or two off the top, we got sidetracked talking ACMs, but our thoughts and prayers are with everybody over in Allen and just the horrible tragedy over the weekend as well. And it's just senseless. It makes you sick to your stomach just seeing anything about it and stuff. But I just wanted to mention that off the top as well.
I just know it was yesterday was a great day, beautiful day. I had just come home. We were celebrating my grandmother. She had passed on years ago, but she lived to be 104. So we were celebrating her birthday. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I got home, I turned on the TV, and that's what was on. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking, I'm like maybe 2 miles from there. Mm-hmm. That's what my house is, maybe 2 miles from there. And so looking at what a beautiful day it was, everyone was out. Mm-hmm. And that's why when you saw all the people there that was gathering, that they had tried to corner off, it just looked.
That was at the outlet mall.
At the mall itself.
They had a vigil yesterday
as
well at a church in the area.
So many people were out there, and it's thank God it wasn't worse.
Stars coach Pete DeBoer pulled a Steve Kerr at his Sunday pre-game press conference.
Mm-hmm. It was before he was even asked a question.
Yes, he just opened up.
And I think he woke up.
About it.
The Stars actually they practiced here on Saturday morning,
mm-hmm. Right,
and then they flew to Seattle, and this occurred at 3:30 in the afternoon our time. Mm-hmm. It sounded like from what Peter DeBoer, the Stars coach, said, he didn't even find out about it until he woke up on Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and.
Boy, he pulled a Steve Kerr. Basically, he didn't go off as much as Kerr, like pounding the table, but he made his point, right? Because if you remember, Kerr did that,
of course,
saying, we got to do something. I'm tired of this, and
that was like 7 incidents ago.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh boy, don't get me started. Mm-hmm. And Bill had to open up the window.
Well, it is Mick shots.
It is Mick shots.
And so anyway, our thoughts and prayers are with everybody there, and we're it's just unfathomable what happened. And
how often it happens.
yeah, that's
Just
right.
think about that. You're just going shopping. You're outside the stores.
I think the main thing, the question I keep asking is, how did this get to be the norm? You know, where did this mindset come from? To think that would solve anything. I know that these are mental issues we're talking about, and of course we're talking about availability of the firearms. But for your mindset, you know, to even think that would solve something, I don't understand what you're trying to do. And whatever you did, it didn't work. You haven't changed anyone's minds about anything.
It's a hell of a way to have a death wish, right?
All right. Well, we will continue with Mick Shots in just a moment, and we'll get into some of the things that are on the table for the Cowboys going forward here in just a moment.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Hey, honey, can we talk?
Of course. What's up?
Well, I just thought you should know I've been curious about the new Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream.
Have you felt this way a long time?
No, I just think I'd really like the taste of Dr. Pepper, swirled with layers of flavor.
If you feel that way, I think you should try it, babe.
It's amazing. I mean, you're amazing too.
New Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream. The new flavor you deserve.
No one knows where this market will go. Things could change tomorrow, next week, or next month. At Merrill, we've been here before, and history shows this is the time to stay focused on your future. Because through every market, the bull will always have your back. Find an advisor in North Texas at ml.com/bullish.
Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do?
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor. Member SIPC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Bank of America Corp.
Back to Mick Shots.
Country music is rocking the star in Frisco with a free multi-day fan festival ahead of the big show. Come celebrate country music's party of the year at the ACM Country Kickoff, May 9th and 10th. The fun starts each day at 3 p.m. with live performances from the newest country music stars, pop-up shops, exclusive artist merch, a beer garden, food trucks, and much more. Visit acmcountrykickoff.com for more information.
Okay, I need to review that.
Yeah, I'm better than you, Spade.
I just need to review it because I wasn't listening at the beginning. Okay, so for those of you who weren't listening at the beginning like I wasn't, it's a multi-day fan festival. We're not just talking Thursday, right?
We're talking the lead-up.
Okay.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay, ACM Country Kickoff, May. What's the date today?
8th.
The 8th. And so May 9th is Tuesday, May 10th, Wednesday. The fun starts 3 p.m. I just want to reemphasize, when you say May 9th and 10th, for those of us who are a little slower, it's hard for us to put those dates with
together.
The days. It's Tuesday. It's Wednesday. The fun starts at 3 o'clock.
It's going to be like walking down the streets in Nashville.
So we've got a country music festival here the next 3 days, basically. Starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the big event on Thursday.
Probably a bunch of bands that are trying to make it, and they're getting a shot at playing the pregame.
So you think they have little pop-ups around? You know,
it says the newest country music stars, pop-up shops, exclusive artist merchandise, a beer garden, food trucks, and much more.
They need to do that for hip hop.
They need to have Dallas
Give me some
Cowboys
t-shirts.
signing
Give me
autographs
some
there, like
t-shirts.
Everson Walls.
Well, it did say performances by the newest country music stars.
Yeah.
Oh, pop-up shots, not pop-up shops, not pop-up concerts.
No pop-up concerts, pop-up shop.
Okay, I've got a question for you. Unless you tell me what's on your legal pad.
No, this was my page of the guys that they were coming to agreements with the undrafted free agents, and then I took a deep dive the other day into Scott, the Cowboys, Eric Scott Jr., the cornerback they drafted in the 6th round.
The steal. That's you said, the steal of
Southern Miss.
Southern Mississippi. This kid.
So you're touting Myles Brooks, the undrafted guy, and now you're touting the 6th rounder who they gave up a future next year's 5th rounder.
Well, that was the tip-off for me.
Yeah.
They had to know something about him. My understanding is Sam Garza, the Mid-South area scout, sort of got on to him while he was playing at Southern Miss. And that was their first kind of knowing who this guy is. But the reason, evidently, he was so emotional when he got drafted, because I don't know if you guys heard Jerry's call to him. The kid's voice was cracking up. He was losing it. He talked about how, he wasn't sure when he was going to get drafted, but he sat there and watched the whole first round, watched the whole second day, and now it's starting the 6th round, and he still hadn't got drafted, right? And and he was a guy that wasn't invited to the combine, wasn't invited to the Senior Bowl. Did go to the East-West Shrine game, and when he had his pro day workout, 2 steps into his 40-yard dash, he pulled his quad, and he finished. Okay, he finished. He didn't stop, but he finished in 4.71. So everybody wrote down 4.71, right? Well,
and they immediately dismissed
him. Yes, and so he talked about how he was sitting at the foot of his parents' bed, watching it on TV with a blanket over his head, and when he heard Jerry make the phone call, he started to cry. Well, he was from a little small town in Kansas, about
Base-Hor Linwood High School.
About 30 miles west of Kansas City.
What's the name of it?
Base-Hor.
Base-Hor, Kansas is where he was born.
And he didn't get a lot of looks out of high school, so he goes to Illinois State. His redshirt freshman year, I think he played like 4 games, if I remember.
Yep.
And he left. Well, he got into something to the point his parents basically said, "You're going to come home. You're going to Butler Community College." And
where Ron Fellows went to community college.
And
Marcus Lawrence.
Marcus Lawrence and Michael Gallup, by the way. And so he goes there, kind of reestablishes himself, gets a scholarship offer to Southern Mississippi, and the first year is COVID, 2020. 2021, 2022, he had a really good season, but in these draft guides, like the one we put out, the Star Draft Guide, he was ranked the 33rd cornerback. There was another one that had him ranked 60th.
Wow.
And another one 76th.
Now, that's where you have to question the data.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the Cowboys used next year's 5th to go up, particularly to get this guy.
One of the 60th worst
So
cornerback
to me, I'm thinking, okay, this
nation.
kid's got to have something, right?
And just give you an idea on that. What did the Eagles do in the 4th round? They took next year's 4th round pick and traded up for the 3rd pick in the 4th round this year to take Healy Ringo, the much touted cornerback from Georgia who fell to the 4th round. And so that's how highly Philadelphia thought of this guy. Well, the Cowboys They traded their 5th-round pick to go get Eric Scott.
Right, and here's what his Southern Mississippi head coach, Will Hall, had to say about him. He said, if you're ever around him, he's the epitome of our culture. He really wakes up every day and chooses his attitude and chooses to respond the right way no matter what the circumstances are. He's a kid that didn't have a lot going on out of high school, made some bad decisions, ended up in junior college, and totally has transformed his life. And if you know anything about some of the kids that go to Southern Mississippi, and in my days of being in Jackson, Mississippi, working at the paper and knowing a little bit about Southern Mississippi, these are usually really tough kids that are pissed off because they got overlooked. And they've made a culture out of that at Southern Mississippi. And
Reggie Collier?
Yep.
Yeah. Except that his talent was a little
Well, you about to choke on your words, man. Are you okay over there?
I was trying to just
he started turning red, didn't he, Bill?
Be kind to Reggie Collier, right? Who got his only start the last game of the '86 season, and he wasn't ready.
But was an amazing athlete, one of the best athletes I've ever seen.
Yes, absolutely. And so I just figured that when I started looking at the Cowboys, really liked him. They got to know him a little better at the East-West Shrine game. And then they brought him in on a 30 visit. So you don't waste your 30 visits, right? And so he had the foresight, or I should say, probably thanks to his agent, that they brought in a photographer and they mimicked the workout he would have done at his pro day. So
had he not pulled his quad.
Had not pulled his quad. So I went and found it. He said it was on YouTube. They call it the W drill for the corners, where you backpedal, turn, come back hard, backpedal, turn, come back hard, and they throw you the football. So they actually do a W. And they filmed it and sent it out to the teams that he took visits to. And he visited 4 other teams, too, by the way, and sent the video in. And they're sitting there looking at how this kid's, his movement. And it's like, oh, okay.
Where did he come from?
Yeah. And so he got basically a second chance at making it to the NFL. And he just sounded like a solid kid. He was so humble, so grateful. He couldn't even get through his interview with the guys here on the draft show without kind of breaking up. So it was a good story. I'm anxious to see him when he gets in here. 6'1", almost 200. Another, by the way, 6'1", 200 cornerback.
6'1", 204.
Yeah.
Who's the best player out of Southern Miss?
Reggie Collier. I'm just saying, he's the best player out of Southern Miss. You don't think so?
Maybe
I'm not talking about
maybe Brett
Favre.
I'm not. Well, you can say Brett Favre. I don't know how Brett played. I don't know how he played in college. I don't know how he played in college.
That's right. That's true. Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. You said coming out of Southern Miss. I didn't say professional career. Coming out of Southern Miss.
Favre was a second-round pick, 33rd
but only
overall.
because he had gotten in a car accident and really suffered some serious injuries. Favre, yeah, and they didn't trust. They weren't sure what he was going to be. But let's remember when Green Bay traded for him after his rookie year, and he didn't really hardly play, they gave up a first-round pick for him, and the rest is history. As a matter of fact, so at the time, the head coach at Atlanta was...
What year is this? Oh,
91.
Lehman Bennett?
No. the little short coach.
Jerry Glanville.
It's a funny story. Me and my buddy that I worked with in Jackson, and he had gone to Southern Miss. His dad was the SID at Southern Miss. We're coming out of the post-Super Bowl little dinner at night where they watch the game again and whatever, and it's freezing cold in Minneapolis. I mean, it's cold. The ice sculpture never never dripped a drop, right? It stayed frozen. Anyway, we're coming out, and Glanville comes running out. And he goes, "Hey, where are you guys going?" We told him the hotel. "That's where I'm going. I'll walk with you." Well, my friend couldn't resist because they had already made the trade. He hadn't made the trade yet. It was a week before. And he goes, "Yeah, Coach, I went to Southern Miss. Does Brett Favre have a chance in the league?" He goes, how did he put it? He said he does if he realizes by Wednesday you got to quit all that, what did he call it, like juice squeezing, meaning drinking, right?
Yeah.
He had some term for partying, right? He goes, "And I don't know if he'll ever figure it out," just like that. And a week later, they traded him for a first-round pick to Green Bay.
So you think the accident may have been?
I think it hurt his draft. That's why he made it in the second. Yeah.
You think it was assumed that he was drinking?
Oh, well, that part I don't know.
Okay.
The details. But it was, he suffered some really bad internal injuries. Yeah. And, I'm sure he was lucky he was in a little town like Green Bay, too. But you're right. The best athlete coming out of Southern Mississippi
is me.
Yes. You were in Louisiana.
First-round draft pick out of Southern Miss, though.
Okay.
Who? First-round draft pick.
Running back?
Nope.
It had to be a defensive.
Punter.
What?
Ray Guy.
Oh, that's right.
It had to be way back. It had to be way back. There's no way that was a recent.
Which, by the way, my
There's
friend.
also another one. Hanford Dixon is also a first-round draft pick. Out of, and I think those are the only two.
Cleveland Browns.
Who was the running back that ended up in Denver? I think he was from Southern Mississippi. He won a
We're going to have
Super
that
Bowl
answer for you. Plus, I'm going
Next.
to ask you the question. We're going to have the answer to this question. Is there one position on this Cowboys team that you would be most concerned about if you lost the top player at that position? Does that make any sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one position that you would be most concerned. Where might they want to fortify, even at this late date in the off season when we come back here on Mick Shots?
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing. make sure you call them because you want to call them, not because you need to call them, right?
Yes.
And we
like before you have damage.
Before you have damage. And you know what? I heard on another read on another station.
That wasn't as well written as this one?
No. That they were the ones that fixed the leak at the AAC, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So,
wow.
Oh, really?
But they didn't call them there until they had to call them, right?
So what's it?
Have your roof checked by choice,
not
by chance. Thank you. That's what I was trying to go, Chris. Thank you.
The phone number if anybody wants to get.
And the
take
phone
a stab
number
at it.
is 214. That's as much as I can remember.
225-4860 or
yeah.
And if you want to go online, kpostroofing.com.
Say the number.
K-Post Company.
Producer Supreme, would you please read the phone number again without Mickey talking at the same time?
It is 214-225-4860.
Very good. Thank you very much.
This is like trying to remember.
Johnson.
Daryl Johnson.
I don't know. Your Cowboys established. There you go.
All right. What is the one position on this team that if you lost the top starter at that position, you might be in a bind?
Quarterback.
Before I say that, wait. He's going
to qualify because he knows what I'm going to say.
Hold it.
Ooh.
Sammy Winder was the answer
Yes.
to what Mickey asked before about the running back from Southern Miss who went on to the Broncos. It was Sammy Winder, who was a fifth-round pick in 1982. All right. The one position where if you lost the top starter at that position, you might be in a bind.
This is too easy for me.
Producer Supreme said quarterback, but I think that quarterback that came in last year, what was his record as the starting quarterback?
4-1.
There you go. So that's winning 80% of your games.
So if Dak wasn't on the team, you'd be very confident, Mick, that you can make the playoffs.
Not on the team. You didn't. That's not what he said.
Yeah.
Well, if he got hurt,
and he's going to miss
playing,
and this player is going to miss 5 or 6 games, and so. If that were to happen, what's the one position on the team you might get antsy?
Well,
I know what you're going to say.
Since they don't really have a starter at this position, kicker.
Well, that doesn't count. Kicker doesn't count.
I thought you were going to say.
Well, punter too. They don't. I mean, if they lost the starter at punter, then...
But your kicker might be able to punt, but you're not sure you have a kicker.
All right,
your punter might be able to kick.
Forget specialist. All right.
Well,
no kicker, no punt. Don't
just
worry
think
about
how much the kicker meant to this team last year.
Deep snapper.
They found one last year.
We've eliminated specialists from this question.
All right.
Okay.
So the one position, if they lost him.
Okay, let's run down.
We know how delicate the unit is. I'm surprised that you're taking this long because this unit is very delicate. It was delicate last year. We were, juggling around trying to fill the position. Guard. I think the guard position. If we lose a starter, we don't do well. We just don't do well.
Yeah, but you haven't established one starter yet.
Well, we have Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if he goes down?
No, well, they're trying to go into this with a different starter at guard than Tyler Smith, right?
Let's put it this way. If I don't go to the Super Bowl and my excuse is I lost my guard, something else went wrong.
Well, that was our excuse last year, is trying to fill the guard position.
They had no problems at guard last year.
They had no problems at guard last year?
No. Connor McGovern played very well.
I wouldn't say that.
Well enough to get a 3-year,
$23
million contract.
Well, only because he's the only one left standing.
No. He was the starter. He earned the job.
Okay.
All right, so he proposed offensive guard, left guard.
Mm-hmm.
That you just can't replace.
Okay, think about the defense. The defense.
Yeah, I am. I'm going through it over.
Okay, let's do it out loud. Okay.
I mean, I can find a guy to play on the defensive line.
Okay, all right, go to linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you lose.
I'm a little worried about linebacker if I lose Leighton Vander Esch.
How about safety? Pretty stock there at safety.
Yeah.
Okay, a cornerback.
Well, So
at least you got
Diggs,
two of the
Gilmore,
Pro Bowl variety, right?
And Bland showed that he can play.
I would not even look in the defensive backfield.
Okay, so we've done with the defense. Okay, we've already started on offense at the guard position. Okay. I think the idea is they hope that maybe a Chuma Edoga, who was signed in free agency from Atlanta, who was injured last year, only played one game.
You know who's everybody's forgetting there is Farniak.
Farniak is another one.
Because he came in a couple games and played and did a decent job.
They're working Josh Ball there. And then the plan, if none of those work out, the plan would be, if assuming the tackles are healthy, that Tyler would be your starting move inside.
Or they move Terrence. They move Terrence Steele there if he's ready to play.
So
and
you've
then
got something
Tyron
to play
Smith
with.
Plays right tackle.
And then there are free agents out there that you would get on a veteran minimum salary.
Is there a right answer?
All right, wide receiver. We haven't wide receiver.
I think he's thinking maybe
wide receiver. What do you got? You got Brandon Cooks. You didn't have him last year.
Who seems to be a very muscular young man. Have you seen him? I saw him at the home run derby.
Oh yeah.
The problem is kind of jacked, man.
There was a problem last year at wide receiver. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Once Amari left, and you had signed James Washington, but it was a minimum wage deal.
Gallup wasn't ready.
And Gallup coming off the knee injury, right? Okay. Now you've kind of taken care of that this year with Gallup being further removed from his surgery, and you got Cooks.
And
all right, we
some
talked
guy
quarterback,
named CD Lamb.
tight end. You've tried to offset the loss of Dalton Schultz, and you got some possibilities there.
But let's talk about Dalton Schultz just for a second.
Okay.
All right. I think the guy they drafted and Jake Ferguson, when it comes to
that would be Luke Schoonmaker, the guy they drafted.
Sorry. I think these guys are better blockers right away than Dalton Schultz.
Okay.
And I think one of the problems they had last year in the running game is they didn't get very good blocking at the tight end position.
I agree with that.
We say that having never seen Luke Schoonmaker attempt to block.
But by God, if he's a tight end for Michigan, as much as they run the ball, right?
By golly, as much as Stanford produces tight ends, they ought to be able to block, right?
Yeah.
Well, now, let me say this, and I said
and
it
the
before.
other guy's from Wisconsin.
Dalton could block when we had the other tight end.
Blake Jarwin.
When Blake Jarwin was a starter, Dalton was that big guy that came in, and he caught the little 2-yard passes, but he was a blocker. And I don't know what happened. Maybe did he lose weight?
He became the receiving tight end.
But he looked like it now. He didn't even block as the same tight end after he
worked so much on the jugs machine.
Tight end.
He worked on that jugs machine.
I don't know what happened, but he became as bad as Jarwin.
And my assessment is not like, some looking back and have revisionist history. He didn't get a big deal in free agency. Let's remember that. It's a 1-year deal to go to the Texans for as much as $6 million. So his base salary is guaranteed at 3-point-something, and then there's a signing bonus that he got, like 1.25. So it wasn't like, boy, he was the cat's meow at tight end.
He seemed like.
When's the last time you heard that?
Hey, Frank Sinatra. Can we come back to the present?
Get back to the.
Can we get back to the correct answer to the question that was posed?
Are you worried about
the running back?
I knew that's where he was
going.
Running
back.
Yeah.
If you lose Tony Pollard, then what?
Or if he's not ready.
We've
talked about that many times on this show.
Yeah.
We assume that he will be ready. It's like as if he's just going to come back the same Tony Pollard.
When you look at the pool of running backs in free agency right now.
Well, they already signed theirs.
Ronald Jones.
Yeah. That doesn't give you a lot of confidence?
Just like James Washington didn't give me a lot of confidence last year.
All right.
Wow, he never said that. He never said that. This is his first time saying that, Spag. We've been touting James Washington on this show. We're talking about his rehab, and boy, we can't wait to get that. Ooh, he's jacked too. And he never said a word.
you know what?
Now all of a sudden he's like, hey guys, I've been meaning to tell you.
But he never.
I said it this time.
He never got a chance, and then he got hurt.
But he was never excited anyway from the beginning.
So you want to re-sign Ezekiel Elliott?
Mm-hmm.
I have no argument against that.
You know,
and there's too many people out there that are – because I saw an argument was just the other day that, well, they got Ronald Jones, and they said – and they paid him –
Ronald Jones.
and they said they paid him this. They paid him nothing.
Oh, that's a veteran minimum.
As a matter of fact, if Deuce Vaughn shows he's worthy of being the second or third
and I love
running
Deuce
back,
Vaughn as a third
Ronald Jones is not on the team.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, he got like $150,000
this
signing
directly
bonus.
threats his position on the team.
Yes.
I believe that. I truly believe that as well.
So, but you're right. And as I've said many times, tell me who's going to replace the 12 rushing touchdowns and who's going to replace him going 12 of 14 on 3rd and 1.
Forget, okay, if Tony Pollard gets hurt. Alongside Tony Pollard.
Yes, that's
same deal
my argument.
as what they've had the last 4 years with Zeke and Tony Pollard. Who is the guy that's alongside Tony Pollard? Because Deuce Vaughn is the third guy. He's the satellite guy.
And nothing against
to
Ronald
start his
Jones,
career.
and
We'll
he
see
might
where he
get an
progresses.
opportunity and play well, but no one has really given him that opportunity, right? I mean, he was there in Tampa, and they made sure they went and got a running back.
They sure did.
And he didn't do anything at Kansas City last year.
Right. He didn't hardly play.
Right.
2 games maybe, something
he
like
used
that.
to be a good back in this league.
He's like
really
6 years into his career.
He just really hadn't gotten – and he's not that old. I think he's like 25, 26.
So can Hunter carry this load?
Hunter Luepke.
Well, I don't know that
Would you rather have him or Zeke?
I'll take my chances with Zeke.
Okay.
But, dude, Zeke don't have a number. His number's gone.
You know what? Whatever the dollar sign, it's after the dollar sign, he'll play for it.
It will look so awkward, though, wouldn't it? I mean,
well, it goes back to
I
the
think
old.
he wanted 15 anyways. So.
Interesting.
College number.
High school,
Interesting.
and that's Greer. Is that right? Will Greer 15?
Yeah.
No, that's not Greer. Greer doesn't exist.
Will Greer is at 15 right now.
He does not exist.
You don't even have to pay him for
we don't
the
have
number.
to pay him anything.
Okay. No, I think there's an argument to be made for that. I really do, and I think too many people are just dismissing the potential of that happening. Now,
I agree. I agree 100%.
The only thing that would hold it up is if he says, "No, I got to have more money than that." Then okay, fine, because they're not going to pay him more than what, $2 million, and then incentives.
You can
$3 million maybe.
You can disguise it.
Yeah. I mean, sort of way they disguised. I was looking up a contract. Oh, it was Schultz's contract. It was a 4-year deal with 3
Gesicki
voidable.
got the same deal. In
3
New
voidable
England.
years,
Yeah.
and then they took the signing bonus.
It gets announced as a 9-year deal, and it's actually half that.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
So you could do that with him.
Has anyone had a Zeke sighting?
Not really. I think he did something at some charity thing. Somebody spotted him.
I want to see what he looks like.
He didn't. Well, that's another thing.
In shape. If he's staying in shape.
We're assuming he's in shape. All right, that does it for this edition.
Usually, when you're a free agent, you try to stay in shape.
Okay, and so we will talk at you again. Talk at you again next Monday and talk about the Zeke signing.
And who won the ACM Awards?
Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, right.
All right. Enjoy the ACM Awards, and we will see you again next Monday here on Mix Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!